Hi there, my name is Matthew Hayes. I'm here to teach you the difference between a win and a loss in a paintball tournament. It doesn't always come down to who's the better player or who's played longer or who has more talent, who gets more practice and whatever. A lot of times it comes down to your equipment working or not working. That's why I'm going to teach you about some maintenance today. Some simple things, 3 things. Change the battery, clean and lube the bolt, and change O-rings where necessary. There's nothing worse than getting out of a game because you can't shoot back at your opponent. It's happened to me quite a few times, and I've learned the hard way to make sure to take extra time to put in some preparation to prevent that. Let me rotate you here so you can see what I'm doing. This is a Planet Eclipse Geo 2.1 marker. This is the one we'll be working on today. I'm going to start by taking off the grips, just unscrewing each of these Allen keys. We have to do this in order to get to the board where the battery sits. Alright, you can take the grip like this and fold it in front of the trigger and back to the other side so it's out of the way. And as you can see, battery goes right here. But I don't keep a battery in my marker because it drains the battery and that can ruin your circuit board over time. Just a little hint to you avid paintball players. Take a new battery, preferably a Duracell or Enercell, which is what Radio Shack sells. It's the same thing as a Duracell, it's made by them. Put it in there. There you go. Press the power button. And make sure it turns on, which mine did. Turn it off, not to waste battery. Fold the grip back over. Put the nuts and bolts back into place. Don't want to tighten these down too far, or it can cause your grips to tear. Alright, next step. Let's do the bolt. In this gun, the bolt comes out by twisting this black knob here. About 3 or 4 or 5 times around. And there's the bolt. I'm actually going to use this cloth, clean off the old, use a microfiber cloth, never use a regular cloth that leaves any kind of residue behind. Paper towels don't work, because then it gets in your gun and that spells trouble. Okay? Take a little bit of lubricant specified by the brand. Different bolts take different lube. You don't want to put too much on here, just a dab here and there. And then just take your fingers and spin it around until you have an adequate amount on there. I didn't put enough on. There we go. You want to see a very thin layer on there. You don't want it to be caked anywhere, or that'll cause it to stick, and you won't be shooting that day. Put it back in. Twist it until it's in. Alright. Next we're going to check for bad O-rings, and since it would take too long and I'm having limited time here, I'm not going to check for every single O-ring in the gun. I actually know where one is that's already bad. Pull this line out here that the air goes through, but just by pulling on it, and it'll come out. You can leave it in the other side. Take your hand and put it on the grip and twist it. This is actually the regulator in this grip. It regulates how much air goes into the firing chamber. And here's our bad O-ring, right here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's got a chip in it that will eventually make it break off. I'm going to take my razor knife very carefully here without stabbing myself and pluck it off. Bad O-ring. Now I'm going to take a new O-ring and put it on. I realize they look the same. They're both black, so can't really tell which one's new and which one's old. Now I'm going to take some gun oil. The reason for the gun oil is to keep it so the O-ring, there is very small gaps. No surface of an O-ring is perfect. Just put a little on there, rub it in a circle, and it'll sit better and it won't leak. Twist it on there. Now that you've done that, you can put the macro line back in. Make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want to turn on your gun and air start spilling out the side. Okay, those are the steps for all the maintenance. Now I've learned a lot from experience, and that's the reason I know most of this. And I'm here to tell you that it's better to learn how to do maintenance first and not wait, because if you wait, you're going to continue to have gun problems, and you can continue to have no fun at all. Really, just make sure that you keep the bolt lubed, not too much though. Make sure that you change batteries on a regular basis, not only in your marker, but also in your hopper, if it's an electric one. And make sure you check for dead O-rings, because those will kill your day. That's not something you can do in 2 seconds unless you know where it is. That takes like hours. Winners are always prepared for anything, so they do maintenance ahead of time. That's what my coach has taught me, and I'm passing that on to you. So let's not make the difference between winning and losing your marker not working. Thank you.